attention, we're going to start the ribbon cutting ceremony for Minneso Island. As you can see on the map, it's up in the right-hand corner, and down below is the rest of Almonds Rock Park. So you can see how easily it's connected to it. It's really close. And so it's a beautiful island that was given to us by Vic and Mary Holitz, who are right here. So a little round of applause for that. So thank you guys very much. But before I say too much more, we have a wonderful video here for you to watch.
If you happen to visit the planet Earth this summer of 2021, make sure to stop by Lindstrom, Minnesota, and visit Lindstrom's new island addition to their unique Almonds Rock Park. Recently named Minneso, that's Swedish for Remembrance Island, Minneso is a 5-acre island in North Center Lake between Lindstrom and the Chisago County seat, Center City. This gift to the citizens of Lindstrom and all the visitors who will discover it in the future was donated by Vic and Mary Holitz. That's Holitz. The C sounds like a TS at the end.
Hi, I'm Mary Holitz, and this is my husband, Vic Holitz.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, that's very nice to see you. We love the lakes, we love the lake systems, we love the fact that we can get in a canoe or a kayak and go all the way around South Center, North Center, and into the other lakes in the chain. I don't think enough people know about the lake system here and about the park system, which is a very vital part of the community. I know that some people feel that if too many people came, it would be overrun and so forth, and it would lose that natural character. But I really think it's undiscovered. It's an undiscovered gem. We don't have a big boat. We just have the canoes and one rowboat here with a small motor on it.
Electric.
But we've gone around the island and come back, and there's actually a couple of properties there nearly surrounded by water, but this one is right out in the middle off the park. A couple of years later, it came for sale. There was sewer on it. There's power that's brought in from Center City under the water.
And it had a well.
And it had a house on it that burnt down in an unfortunate
We heard.
Arson. We considered the possibility of building on it, but then we started talking to people, and they kept talking about what they as kids and what their kids and all of these experiences that they had had in the chains here, but particularly around that island. And it seemed like a pretty natural thing that it really belongs to the community and it belongs to the visitors that come here. When we were preparing for the donation, it was important for us to understand that something would be done with it, that it wasn't just going to be a piece of land sitting out there. In the stories that we were told from members of the community and others, a lot of times they wouldn't go on the island because they weren't permitted to. It was privately owned, and there's plenty of signs that were left over from a decade not to go on it, and I'm sure some did. I know some did. But the point is that it never quite was the place that they wanted to visit. They wanted to visit, but they couldn't. We really felt that that was what should be done with it, is to make it open. So we talked to the city, and we're convinced that they would take a long-term perspective on this, that they were going to develop it in the way that it should be developed as a wilderness area.
It's like you have all these great volunteers too, the park board and the Boy Scouts, that people are so willing to come and help and prepare it so that other people can use it. It's not just for them. They're going to cut trails in, they said, make trails through the island. It's, how big is it? 3 acres? 5 acres.
5 acres.
Have trails that go through.
It's more now. The water's way down.
Oh yeah, the water's way down. And put some campsites in for people, and we would like them to build some sort of a shelter so that if you were stuck out there and a thunderstorm came rolling in, there'd be some place for the campers to go, so that you'd be protected. So the city is very amenable to all of those. They drew up a plan. They had a young man go through and count the species and look at what kinds of plants and trees were on the island, and so they've done a lot of work
I'm absolutely positive that Carl Oscar lived on that island for a little while. That's why it was called something
Doctor Island?
earlier than Doctor's Island. I don't know what happened there, but we'd sure love to learn the history of that area a little bit more.
We tried asking, and nobody seemed
we
to
went
know anything. You know, I liked the Facebook page for the Historical Society so that we could ask the question, does anybody know anything about the history of that island? Got no hits on it, so if anybody else out in the community knows some of the history, who lived there, when the house was gone, what happened after the man died and the house was gone, and give that information to the Historical Society or to the city so that we could write something about the history.
When we talked to John at City Hall about the property, somebody, I don't remember in which conversation, said, you know, that's going to be a lot of work. Okay, it's a lot to add to the already busy and wonderful natural park system right here in the city. And cities don't usually have that, okay? And whole cities don't. Towns, small towns, don't have that ever. And he says it's all about faith and the fact that as we go forward, we're going to find the resources, we're going to find the people, we're going to find the volunteers. We're going to be able to turn it into something that links together with the park, and we can go further with it. And that faith, leaping forward, paying it forward, it was very appealing.
So thank you, Vic and Mary Holitz, and to all future volunteers and guests of the Chisago Lakes area newest destination, Minneso Remembrance Island.
All right. Yes. Speaking of volunteers, there already has been a million volunteers. We need to thank Jack for making this video. Josh Campbell, I don't think he's here. He did all the spectacular drone video in that. Tom Tengwall, and Tom, can you stand up, please? Or whatever, yeah. Him and his wife, Deb, speaking of volunteers, I called him last fall and said, now that you're retired, how's life? And he said, well, I'm not taking on any projects, so we've just been relaxing. And I said, oh darn, I was calling you with a project. And he said, well, what is it? And I said, we need to get this island in shape, cleaned up, and the trail built by this time today. And by God, I don't know how the two of them did it, but they had crews of people go help them. You know, Kevin Backer and some other people helped this last week finish some things up. So once again, volunteers came through, and as Tom is the leader. So thank you, Tom. Everybody, a round of applause for all the work you did and coordinated. So that was fabulous. So to move on, in case you didn't get to all that, it is a 5-acre island. It's about a third of a mile of lakeshore. Right now, it's just would be like a day use, go up for a picnic maybe or something and go off. We don't, there's not going to be a lot of development happening for probably 3 to 5 years as we gather the resources to be able to improve the island more and more. We do have the thought of some cabins up out there possibly that you would rent through the city, so that's in the future. But then, you know, first we have to address where you're going to go to the ladies' room at. So there won't be cabins till there's a ladies' room, just so you know. On the island itself, as you can see on the map here, it is actually 4/10 of a mile from this peninsula part of the Anderson Peninsula. Anderson sisters are here. Thanks to them for the peninsula. So there's an eagle's nest out there. There's a fox. Tom swears it's the biggest gardener snake he's ever seen in his life living out there too. I don't know, maybe him and the fox can get into it, and I don't know. So I just want to say, can you two stand up once more, please? I just want to say thank you from the bottom of the city's heart. The city of Lindstrom thanks you for donating this island to our Almondrat Wilderness Park. Much appreciated. So we're going to do a quick little ribbon cutting over by this wall. So if the city council members, park board members, Vic and Mary, of course, the family can go over here. That would be great. Tom, you should be in this too. The Andersons, you know, let's just make it a big picture party.
Okay. We take sunglasses off. That's fine. All right. Looking great. Looking at me. Nice big smiles. Everybody, big smiles. Keep going. Yeah.